Welcome to Keep It 100, Coach Jones Show. How y'all doing?
Doing great. Excited about getting another victory, another district win. We're coming together as a team,
sir.
and like I talked to the team yesterday, and this is my fault. I've been focusing so much on other things, district championship, playoffs. Our motto all year, even starting with Choctaw, was control what you can control, and that's today. So we had a great practice yesterday because we control what we can control. Today we need to have another great weightlifting session, great film session, and a great practice. And I feel like as long as we control what we can control on a daily basis, we're going to be successful, and we're going to need to do what we need to do.
Well, Coach, we got a special guest on here today, man. It's usually unique. A lot of times you have your linebacker, quarterback, but this young man, Mr. Stanley Johnson, has done a great job for you for the last few years kicking the football for the varsity team. His number speaks for itself, but I'll let you kind of talk a little bit about him, but I'll just tell you, man, anytime you see Stanley, he's a kicker, but he can also go out and play, I tell him every time I see him, he probably look at me like, what's this guy talking about? But I always say, man, that guy can go play some linebacker, defensive end for you because he's a good size, but he does a great job in the kicking game for you. And we'll talk about, he just hit his best record this last game, kicking a 45-yarder, man. That's big time for a high school player. But like I said, I'll let you talk a little bit about him, then we'll get into his stats.
Yeah, one of the unique things about Stanley, too, and this is what I love about coaching at Dell City, I went to elementary school with his father.
Okay.
So that's another great quality that is here at Dell City, that I get to coach kids that I went to school with their cousins and uncles and fathers and mothers. So that's another great experiences that I get to have. Stanley's a weapon. If you have came and watched us the last 3 years, especially the last 2 years, I can't stress enough how important it is for people to put the kickoffs in the end zone. When you put the kickoffs in the end zone, people are starting on the 20-yard line, the percentages of them going to score really lessens. So that's a weapon that he has. And then also field goals. I think he's I can't remember. He's like 33 for 34 on PATs. I don't know if that's exactly.
No, he's I'm sorry, Coach, PAT, he's 38 for 39.
He's 38 for 38,
Stanley,
38
get it
for
right.
39 on PAT. And I've been here at Dell City when that wasn't the case, and that cost us games, missing PATs.
Yes, sir.
And for field goals, he's 8 for 9, and if some of our games, the scores weren't so lopsided, I think we would utilize him more. He has made some important kicks throughout his career. Carl Albert, he made a 42-yard kick. Stillwater, I think it was like 41 yards. He continues to make plays in crucial moments that can put us in a situation to win. Even versus McAllister, he missed one early on, but he made 3. And to come back with all the pressure on the line, with all that adversity happened, them taking the lead, and for him to be able to kick that field goal to take it to overtime, it's a testament of who he is and the athlete he is. Not only does he star in football, he's a star goalie for us, and our soccer program is changing. So Stanley's not your typical kicker when it comes to being athletic. He can play, like you said, multiple positions. I think his future is bright. I think he's going to have a chance to go play on the collegiate level as a kicker.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, Stan, we're going to turn it over to you a little bit, man. Let you talk a little bit about yourself and, kind of tell you how you got caught up, not caught up, but, got induced to the game of football because you talk about, your soccer career, how you started off, being a soccer guy, that you came on and become a kicker. So tell us a little bit, how you got involved with football.
It was like 7th grade year. My coach was like, do you want to kick? I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll try it. Since I'm kicking the ball, I play soccer. They go hand in hand. So it was definitely a different experience. I didn't grow up playing football. I didn't want anything to do with football, but I'm here now.
Well, you talk about, you're starting in 7th grade, but, Coach had mentioned earlier some of the big kicks, and I truly believe this game 1, against Choctaw, they kind of take the lead, and you guys kind of go back and forth, and I really think that I think it's a 30, 35-yard field goal that you end up making, and I told my buddy, I said, at that time the game was going back and forth, and I told my buddy, and I didn't Reggie, I'm sitting there talking to, and I said, hey, Dell C's going to win. I said, if he makes his field goal, Dell C's going to win this ball game. And it ended up being a 4-point game, but, that kick ended up being very important because, they'd had to go down and score a touchdown. They couldn't tie it up with a field goal. So great job with you. You talk about, we talked about your stats, your field goals, like Coach said, you're 8 for 9, your longest is 45. You just hit that last week. And, going into the playoffs, and you guys are, 3 weeks out from being in the playoffs, but, you got a game this week against Glenpool, and next week it'd be another, all for the marbles against, Coweta. Both teams take care of business this Friday night. But you're going to be very important to the team because going into, as you can see, the weather's changed. You know, we all got long sleeves on now, but you know the weather's changed. But you know you're going to be a big part of going into the playoffs and having that leg being strong enough to kick. So, you know, what do you do? You know, what do you do to get your legs stronger and at practice? What's your practice like?
Practice mainly consists of like accuracy stuff, just for if I'm in the key moment that I'm able to hit it because I know I have the accuracy.
Yes, sir.
I trust my leg. It's just all about accuracy at this point.
Well, I mean that's good stuff. Like I said, you know, you talk about, you know, you said your favorite food is salmon. Does that help that leg
Maybe
get going? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
Like a kicker to say
yeah,
salmon.
salmon.
Kickers
That's
are
good
always
stuff.
on a level from an intellect standpoint. So he shows it at times, and that's incredible.
But, you know, you talk about 21 pickbacks, you know, and that helps the team a lot, you know, because a kickoff return can change the game. I've seen the team go down and take a momentum, might go score a touchdown, and you turn around and kick it off, and they run it back. The whole momentum goes back to them. So being able to put the ball, out of the end zone helps a lot with the team, you know, with 21 putbacks. Then, you talk about, you know, your soccer. You say, you know, you play AAU soccer, and the name of your team is Midwest City Vision. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I've been with them for like 10 years now.
That's good.
It's pretty much a family now because I almost left, but I can't do that to them. I've been with them for so long, and we travel everywhere: Texas, Arkansas, Kansas, playing. We just play.
You're doing that now, even during football season.
Yeah.
So that's impressive.
That's
for him
impressive,
to be
yeah.
traveling and, you know, because soccer is his main sport. I'm not going to never tell a kid he can't go on
Yes.
the weekends and go travel and play for a select team. So for him to be able to be traveling on the weekend and to still come during the week and take care of his business, it shows that he's a selfless player, a selfless teammate. And the one thing I didn't mention, he's one of our captains, and everybody on our team respects him. They know that when Stanley goes into the game, if he's punting, because we don't talk about punts.
Oh, yeah, you already talked about his punting, yeah.
Let me see that. So when we talk about punts, if you go back to the Booker T game, we got 14 points off a muff punt. He's kicking it high. He's getting that college type height on it, you know. And those guys are, you know, we got speed to get down there. And even Michael T is one of the best players in the state, muffed a punt. So Booker T, he had 2 muff punts. And then versus Midwest City, we had a muff punt. So when you get that height and that distance that he's getting, it's causing those returners to kind of be anxious because they know we got speed coming down there. So those 3 plays played a big, significant role into the season we're having. And like you said, versus Choctaw missed 2 extra points that game. Either they didn't have confidence in their kicker doing it, and then one time they missed. But Stanley making that field goal, like you said, made them have to go for 7. Or go for a touchdown to win the game. If they go kick the field goal, who knows? So Stanley's a weapon. We're excited about him. I tell the kids all the time that it's going to come down. I just got a feeling that it's going to come down to Stanley making a big play for us. And we got all the confidence in the world in him. He's one of our captains. He's a leader. He works out with us just like any normal other position player does. And he's a leader for us. I'm excited to see what he's going to do for the remainder of the year.
You know, that's, like I said, you know, he's going to, like I said, going into the playoffs and the weather's getting cold, you know, the scoring goes down with, you know, the extra points and the field goals is going to come in handy at winning the ball game. So I think, Coach, you know, you have a great leader. Like I say, he's one of your captains,
Yes, sir.
but also a great football and a soccer player. And, you know, my man likes Little Baby. So, you know, what's your favorite song from Little Baby?
Right now, it's probably "In a Minute" by Lil Baby.
Okay. Well, Stan, I'm going to ask you this question before we close out. You know, you're playing Carl Albert for the state championship. Okay. 3 seconds left on the clock. Coach Don had 3 timeouts, and he calls 3 timeouts to ice you. What are you thinking?
He's scared.
He's scared.
Just like McAllister game.
That's what I'm talking about.
When
Let's keep it at 100.
When they called the timeout, I looked over at the coach and he was smiling. He was like, "We're coming for this one." I just laughed. I was like, "That's what I do."
That's
And
what I'm
then-
talking about. Ice in the vein, right?
Yeah.
So you call all the timeouts you want.
Yeah.
You got ice in the vein. But Stan, that's what I'm talking about. And that's the difference. I mean, people don't realize a kicker is so important. You know, everybody talk about the quarterback, the running back, the receivers. But at the end of the game, when you need that big kick and you've done it, I've seen you do it numerous times. You know, like I said, you just had your best kick the longest 45 yards. You're 5 yards away from kicking a 50-yard field goal. So, man, I love that answer. I love having ice in the vein, man, because that's what you should be. You got to be confident going up there because I tell you all the time, a kicker job is the toughest job, the toughest job to have because you never know when you're going to be called on. You're sitting there, because you know at quarterback, running back, you're going to go in every other series, but you might not get that. You might not get that call to the third or fourth quarter. Yeah. So you always got to be ready. But I love what you just said, man. You got to be ready and have ice in the vein. No matter what the coach, how many timeouts he called, you got to be ready. But Stan, I appreciate you coming on the show with me and Coach Jones, man. It's a privilege to have a kicker on the show. It's the first time I ever had one. I mean, even with my own show, it's the first time I ever had one, man. And like I told you earlier, man, I mean, you can go play anywhere Coach Jones asks you to play. You can go play. So, last quick, is there anything you want to tell the players, going into these last three weeks of the regular season?
If we just stay focused and dialed in, we'll like the outcome.
Yes, sir. That's it. Well, folks, we appreciate it. We'll be right back after one of our sponsors. Keep it 100 to Coach Jones Show. We'll be right back.
With 25 years experience in the industry, Line-X Customs OKC is your one-stop shop for all your vehicle accessory needs. Specializing in spray-in liners, lifts, levels, wheels, tires, bed covers, and anything else you need to make your ride look and sound better. Call Eric and the boys at 405-778-8878.
Welcome back to Keep It 100 Coach Jones Show. What's going on, Coach? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Like I said, we're 1-0 because we're taking it a week at a time.
Yes, sir.
We played against a Memorial team that, they're improved. They have some good athletes, and we were able to go out there and do a lot of special things. They had another great game.
Another great game.
He's having a great year. He has a chance to break the touchdown record of Dale City of Terry Wilson. Right now, he has 19 touchdowns. I believe the record is 24. So the season that he's having, without being able to play quarterback last year and the year before, he played his freshman year, but to go 2 years without playing, sophomore, junior, 2 years, it's pretty impressive to go out there and throw for 1,900 yards, 19 touchdowns, and to rush for almost 300 yards. And I feel like he still has a lot on the table in the running game as well. So it's nothing but outside amazing, but the stature and size that he has at 5'6", 130 pounds, that's just pretty impressive with what he's doing. Also, Kenigel Thomas, he had a great game as well. He had another 2-touchdown game. I don't think his name's talked about enough as far as the state player of the year because, everybody knows Kenigel going into the game. So for him to be able to be almost averaging what we're 6-1, he has 11 touchdowns. For him to almost be averaging close to 2 touchdowns a game is pretty impressive because everybody goes into the game knowing they have to stop one, and he's still able to do some things. And defensively, we had another great game. When we took our ones out, it was 63-7. So our twos came in, and they, we got to get a little bit better in that area. But we're playing good football right now. We're playing good, fundamentally football on defense. We're swarming around. We're hitting people. We're able to throw the ball, and we're able to run it as well. And our special teams are very impressive. So I'm excited right now. I'm excited where we're at this point in time in the season. I'm excited to see where we're going to keep moving forward.
Like I said, you talked about the offense and the defense both put another great showing on against our Tulsa Memorial. Beating them, like I said, 62-21. Proves Dale City record to 6-1. Kind of put you guys in the driver's seat, for next week, and both teams can take care of business. I know you can't look ahead. Yeah. For this Friday night, you got Glenpool, and I think they got East Central. Quita. It's going to be kind of like the McAllister game. Be the game of the week. Yes, everybody will be here. All the 4, 5, 9. Squirtle, Oklahoma Prep. All those teams will be here to support you. And it's football weather now. You can see, it's getting cooler and
a little freezing tonight, right?
Last night. A little freezing. So I just think you got another chance. Like that, you get that second chance, and I think you guys are gonna take care of business. I know McAllister came in and slipped up and got one out of here. Then they end up going down to Quita getting beat. Yes. Now you got Quita at home. For the home fans to come out and support you guys in that game. Like I said, I know we got to take care of Glenpool first, but I just think what you guys are doing, last week you put up another 421 yards. You only gave up 190. You talk about, Day D-Nice was 16 for 25, 257 yards, 4 TDs, the interception. But I think on the year he only has like 4 interceptions. Yes. You're rushing, you got being Adama, 5 carries, 47 yards, 1 TD. Day, had 4 carries, 41 yards, 1 TD. and then S. Green, that's your
Sophomore.
the
Yeah, Shaden, the
sophomore.
sophomore.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
3 carries, 21 yards, and 1 TD. Then you talk about a young man, that carried the team a little bit, Jay Burns. Now what grade is he in now?
He's a senior, and that's what I love about our receiving
Yeah.
corps. Each week, you see somebody stand out that what is not a name that everybody's gonna know. Last week it was, Jalen Sweet. Everybody knows him. He has some tremendous catches. And then you have Josiah Burris, who steps in. He's a senior. When people start putting that focus on Kanigel, Jalen Sweet, and Foreman, even Braylon Adama, now you got a kid like Josiah Burris, who was on our state championship 4x4 relay team. He's also a soccer player, great athlete. He had 4 catches for 3 yards,
103
and
yards,
a touchdown.
Yeah, 1 touchdown.
So he's a great player for us. He's selfless. He backs up several roles on defense. He's a starting slot receiver for us. So I'm excited about him. And to mention like big games, obviously we had Glenpool coming up, so that's a big game, and we're going to be playing at home, so we want to take care of business. But I was looking at some of the rankings because I'm a football fan,
Yes,
so I
sir.
like looking at the rankings. I looked at the 662 rankings. You got Choctaw, Deer Creek, Booker T, and Stillwater. In the past year, we have beat those 4 teams. So what that tells me is that our kids are used to playing in big games. Our program is at a point where we can have consistent play, consistent coaches where we can go out there and win those type of games. And not to mention Carl Albert and Bishop McGinnis, we beat them in the past year too. So that's 6 teams that are in from 6A2 to 5A there in the top 10 teams. It just shows where our program's at. Our program's at a point where people know they're going to have to show up and come play us, and they know that they're going to have a bunch of kids flying around, hitting them in the mouth defensively. You're going to have a lot of athletes spread around and getting the ball. So I'm excited where our program's at. It's a lot of different factors that play into that. This show plays into it, helping our kids mature and helping them be confident in themselves with speaking in front of the camera. Our coaches are doing a great job, our administration, Shannon. So it's a lot of different factors that play into us having success. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about taking care of business tonight and then going on the next week for hopefully the district championship.
Boy, you said it. We just said you said it late, but got it straight.
Yes, sir.
I tell you, you're sitting in a great position. You really are. You talk about, Carl Albert, Bishop McGinnis. They tackled last Friday night.
Yes, sir. It was a great
Carl
game.
Albert got a big piece of their weapon back, and Reed DeQuazy comes back, and he's back playing, and so everything's gonna play out. There's 6 to 8 teams that can win this, Coach.
We've been saying that all year, man, and it's turned out to be true. And guys, you just gotta give your hats off to Carl Albert and the coaching staff and Reed, and that's such a great story. Like I felt so sick in my stomach when that kid got hurt the first game of the season. For him to be able to come back and do what he did last week in that game in crunch time and to be able to play safety as well, that's what high school football is about. So I'm proud of him. I'm proud of what Carl Albert's doing. That's what you want. You want everybody at their best. So when if you do win it, you want to be able to say, hey, everybody had bullets in the chamber. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about seeing how this thing plays out. It's what football's about.
The thing is, you got to wait to see how everything plays out, because if you guys went out, and there's a good chance, you got to give it up to the Middale, administration. 3 teams could all finish up to one in their district. Midwest City, Carl Albert, and Dell City.
Absolutely.
And wouldn't face each other maybe to the semifinal round, but it's kind of unique, but like I said, it's also, it tells you how strong Middale, how strong Middale football is.
I don't think they've lost since they lost to us.
Midwest City's on the road. Coach Hall got those guys rocking and rolling right now.
I don't think the score against us was an indication of who they are.
Yes,
I feel like they were a better team. They got a senior quarterback who leads that team. They have athletes just like us. They're playing good football, and I think they beat Lawton Mack pretty good.
Real good.
Man, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with when they get in the playoffs. They keep the streak going. They'll be 8-2 going to the playoffs. So, like you said, Middale's done a great job. We've always known that we have athletes in this district. They're spread out, and it's exciting to see all 3 of them finally get a chance to go against each other in 5A. This may be the first time in the history of the district that all 3 teams in 5A. So that's exciting for the fans, exciting for the community.
You talk about, we talk about Kanigel, every weekend you get on the show, we talk about what he did. He had one catch for a touchdown too. So last week he has 2 catches and they're both touchdowns. So, and this guy's a weapon, and I told you the other day, man, there's a lot of great athletes around, but there's something about Kanigel. It's like when he touches the ball, he's exciting. You get excited to watch him touch the ball and the way he carries himself. he's kind of like Odell Beckham, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, because the kid's going to college for defense.
Yeah.
But man, he can really go and be somebody's. I mean, an offensive star.
Yeah,
I mean, just the way he carries himself. You know, and like you talked about Day, you know, this guy's went to no camps, and you know, this has all been right here in his backyard, just working hard. And you talk about being 5'6" and throwing for almost 2,000 yards. And I know at the beginning of the year, your team was kind of made fun, you know, run left, run right. But this guy's showing you, hey, I can throw left, throw right. It's going to throw for over probably 2,000 some yards and have over, 25 touchdowns. One of the biggest things, like I said, you're going into these next few weeks is staying healthy. Like I said, that's the most key point is staying healthy and then always putting in different kind of wrinkles. Is there something that that you're working on? I know you made some moving Tango to defensive end, and you said that's been just outstanding. So.
Well, at this point in time of the year, and just to speak on Day, everybody, and it was constructive criticism that needed to be had. Last year we were one-dimensional. So as a coaching staff, for us to be able to get into the lab this offseason and to be able to make some adjustments and be able to add some things and to be able to come out and have our passing game look the way it has, that's coaching, and that's a testament of the players grinding. We want to spread the ball around. I felt like early in the year we were getting Day comfortable, we were getting everybody comfortable. But now we're at a point where we got 5 receivers that can beat you, and we have a couple tailbacks. So we want to continue to spread the ball around, play tempo. We're playing real fast. Then defensively, we really want to focus on our base defense. Sometimes with the athletes we have, we get so caught up in playing blitzing and bringing some of those athletes and playing some man behind it. So we want to do some different things and play a little bit base and play some zone behind it, so our kids can get back to the fundamentals of the game. So we got a couple wrinkles that we're going to bring out throughout the year, and as we progress towards the playoffs, and I'm excited to see how it unfolds. Glenpool's a great team. They got some great athletes. They play hard. They got a lot of tradition. So I'm excited about getting out there again in front of our fans and seeing where we're at. You can't let these kind of games, because you can honestly say it's a trap game.
Game.
We have a big game coming up next after Glenpool. So our kids, they might tend to look ahead, even as coaches, because like I said, if a coach says he doesn't peek ahead, they're not telling the truth. So I'm not going to lie, I'm peeking ahead a little bit. But you have to be mature enough as you peek ahead to still take care of what you can control, and that's being ready for Glenpool and making sure we go out there and put out a good product.
Like I said, you got your work cut out next week because, you take on a team in Coweta that's probably the hottest team in 5A.
Oh, yeah.
And with their quarterback situation with Lavery going down and they're starting to the younger, I don't know if he's young, I think he's a senior, but he's just more of an athlete. I don't know his name. What is this?
I honestly don't know his name. I just know he's a heck of a football player. I saw him live, and I'm telling you right now, I don't know if it was just a hangover with McAllister, but they got after them and they started from the jump, and they were playing physical fast. If you ever been to that stadium, it's a college type atmosphere stadium. It was just a great experience for me to be able to be a football fan and sit there and watch it. So they're very talented, and the good thing I love about all this is you watch them play Glenpool, you watch them play Sapulpa, and Glenpool and Sapulpa held their own against them. So the matchup that we have this Friday is going to see where we're at versus Coweta, because they already played them. So I'm excited about it, man. I love where everything is unfolding. Like we talked about, we said it's 8 teams and 5 that has a chance. Everything's going to work out, and we'll be able to see what everybody's talking about, schemes, how you build up your program. I just love this. It's like chess. It's like playing chess. So I really love the matchups. I love where 5A's at right now.
Well, Coach, like I said, I know we'll get into a little bit more Coweta next week and get going to them. But like I said, where Del C's sitting at right now, 6-1, got a chance to go win the district championship. You got guys playing, some amazing football right now. In your quarterback, your receiving, and it feels like they're just getting the ball to different receivers. If you look at it, Swede was the leading receiver last week. Now you had Jay Burrs this week. Then you come back with Kanizer. Then you had Q Brown. 1 catch, 11 yards on the way and finish this, and you had Foreman. And I love to see Foreman catch the football, 2 catches, 32 yards. It just shows you now you got to be prepared for him. You can't sleep on him.
For all areas of the offense,
Yes.
So I love that. And I think the tempo, I can't stress enough what the tempo does to people, because anytime you go tempo and you sit on the collegiate level, I saw it with TCU versus Oklahoma State. If you get those defenders kind of rattled, and they have the substitution rules, so that kind of helps defenses in colleges, but when you got somebody going fast and they're going tempo, I mean, when we played Texas Tech, when they first got it rolling, Mike Litch was the head coach when I was at Oklahoma State, and they had Wes Wecker. They always had a good quarterback. Man, when you're breathing like that you're tired, you're not able to communicate your stuff. Now you're putting athletes in space against another athlete that's tired,
Yeah,
and that athlete knows where he's going.
where the
So
other one go,
it usually
yeah.
works out better. You know, and another impressive thing with these guys is they're not playing in the second half, and the second half has been a running clock the last 2 weeks. So it really hurts us a little bit because we're not able to get reps in that second half, not only with the ones but the twos. So the running clock thing, you know, I'll stress again like I did last week. I'm not just saying this because I'm on the winning side. If I was on the losing side of things, I would not want to run the clock because I feel like
You wanna get your
those
players
kids
better.
deserve to play and they deserve to get reps. Like a running clock at this level, I just don't know if it needs to be there. So I hope that, you know, we can talk about that kind of stuff in the offseason and come up with an agreement that guys, regardless of the score, we need to just play the game out like it needs to be played. Parents deserve it, community deserves it. So I hope that's something that we can visit in the offseason so we don't have a Kanaja and Day that only gets 10 reps and 2 combined games in the second half.
Well, Coach, I want to talk about the ranks before we close this up. You know, each I guess OK Prep,
Yeah.
Vibe and everybody, Daily Oklahoma, everybody has their own ranking. Which one is the right one? Because you know, watching Sunday's ranking come out, you was ranked number 7, and a few of the teams that's in front of you, you've already beat or beat teams that beat them. So how does that pair out? I mean, what does it come down? Is it the coaches poll ranking? What is the main ranking? Because I want to know because like I said, if you watch my show this week, I kind of talked about the ranking. I thought you was kind of shafted because I don't know how you lose one game by 1 point, then you drop all the way to 7, then you got teams that's lost by 20-some points and they're ranked number 2. So explain to me about the rankings before we close this out.
Well, like I tell our kids, everybody says that rankings don't matter, and that's not true.
It does.
Any coach looks at rankings and naturally it's going to build your confidence or naturally it's going to kind of either put a chip on your shoulder if you're not where you need to be. Everybody has, Prep Red Zone has their own process on how they do it. Daily Oklahoma does. I even see the Tulsa Union and the Tulsa World.
Yeah.
The McAllister paper as well. In the McAllister paper, I believe they had us either ranked 2 or 3. The Tulsa World had us ranked 3, and the Daily Oklahoma had us ranked 3 as well. And it was Colwita and McAllister, and that's the way it should be at this point in time. I think, the Prep Red Zone, I don't know if they've been to one of our games, so I don't know if they've seen us play live. If you look at who we beat, they got Choctaw ranked number 2 and 6A2, and Booker T ranked number 5, and we beat both of those teams. So I don't know what their judging system is to get teams in the proper place. Daily Oklahoma, they see all teams play. So their ranking is, to me, it's more reliable because they've been to all the different games. They keep track of all the players a little bit. So they put us at 3, and they put McAllister at 2. McAllister beat us, and Colwita by far has been the best team this season. So even McAllister played. I want to say McAllister's paper had us at 2, and that's the team that played us. So if a team that played us and beat us has us at 2, that's just a testament of them believing in respect. So I just think the rankings come down to what people think of us as a team. I think some people still kind of don't think we can finish the deal, and that's something that we're going to have to show because, versus Sand Springs, we didn't show it. So some people still have that doubt if we can win at the end of the season, and we all know that, and that's something that we're going to have to show. We're going to have to go out there and do it by action, and we'll get our opportunity. I love where we're at as a program, that we've been discussed in the rankings of top 5 programs. So I hope that we can continue to stay humble and continue to do what we need to do. But like I said, rankings are important to me because it shows where you're at as a program. It shows the respect you're getting throughout the state. And that kind of stuff matters. Newspaper journalists have a relationship with college recruiters, other coaches do, so that stuff matters. If you're up there in the rankings, you'll get more college looks for these kids to get them able to go get a free education.
Rankings, what you're saying is all on the point. It just kind of weird, like I said, I was kind of upset, like I said, to see a team that's lost 1 game by 1 point and they're ranked number 7, then you got, Bishop McGinnis lose at home to Colorado that's lost 2 games already this year. And Holly was ranked higher than you. And so, like I said, it's going to come down to it, too. You got, like I said.
But Donna made a great point to me. I never looked at it this way. He said, like with Prep Red Zone, he said at one point in time, Prep Red Zone had McAllister ranked number 1. Mm-hmm. So if we lost to a team that you had ranked number 1 2 weeks ago by 1
top 5.
point, and then you move us out of the top 5, was your ranking on McAllister really reliable? Because if it really was, then why would you make us drop that far from losing to a team that you thought was number 1? So I just... I don't know what their judgment is on that, but it does look kind of, shaky a little bit.
Well, I mean, I remember like me, and you've been in high school. I remember, the year I played with Kel, we were ranked number 2 in the nation. I mean, that's nation,
Wow.
so that's something I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what I said. So it does matter.
Yes.
And when you're doing this power ranking and people seeing it, and it's, people can sit there and say what it is and what it's not, but it's when a kid says, man, you know what, Del City is a team that, hey, they're winning year in, year out. I'd like to be part of that program.
Yes,
So
yes,
it all plays in effect. But like I said, I'm excited for the next few weeks because, like I said, when playoffs start, I think it's going to be hot.
You know who's, and before we go on, you know who's kind of getting the shaft on it? It's Collinsville.
Yes.
Coach,
Well, you're still the state champion.
And you're 7-0, and you're the state champion.
We're gonna find out what they got because they played my team this week.
Grove.
Yeah,
that's your sleeper. You've been saying
I said my sleeper.
How do you be 7-0 and you were the state champion and you're not ranked number 1? In the past, I've seen teams be state champs and they're undefeated.
You know what it could be though, Coach? It depends on how many kids you lose. I mean, what happens? Like and this about having this show is great because people think, oh, you're losing for me.
Yeah.
You lost the ING young man, David Stone. You're losing Canigel.
Yeah.
Is Del C going to fall off? No, folks. You look at some of these names. Some of these kids are just freshmen and sophomores, and they're doing big things. So, it's kind of like what they did. You'll find another quarterback to come in, and you got some up and coming running backs and some good-looking linemen. So, I mean, I think a lot of it does have to do that. Collinsville was a heavy senior team, but they're still winning, and once you kind of get that program rolling, and then kids are going to move in. And I tell you, like the teams like Beggs and these little teams, I'm going to say Coweta, people can say I'm wrong, but I think those teams are benefiting off of BA, some of the bigger schools there in Tulsa, because, hey, I can go to Coweta and win a state championship. Yeah. It's no difference in me winning a state championship at Coweta or me winning the state championship at Broken Arrow.
Absolutely.
I got a ring on my finger, and I'm a state champion, and colleges are going to come look because if a kid is balling out, they're going to come find you.
Absolutely.
I tell people all the time, the Jamal Franklin kid over in Muskogee, no one really knew about that young man, but now he's on everybody's watch list.
Football playing Jack, man. He can throw the ball. Is he a sophomore?
He's just a sophomore. Ooh. And that whole class is just a sophomore. So 6A, I tell you, 6A too, man, you got your work cut out. You might get that team this year, but I think the next few years, you go those young.
He has a chance to be the most prolific.
Somebody call him the Michael Vick of Oklahoma.
Man,
I saw that the other day on Twitter.
I can't remember when we had a quarterback that's going to be on his level for a long time.
Gundy was, when he was getting recruited, we kind of talked about that on the show. When he was getting recruited, man, he was kind of, Kel was, it's we talked about this the other day. I know we're kind of getting off subject, but, when he was getting recruited, you got to realize Kel didn't have a social media. He didn't have Twitter. He didn't have Huddle. He had a VH tape. That and he said it. His brother helped him a lot. When you do have a big brother, and that's all it is with your program. The kids you have. Think if you still had David Stone. David Stone's on Twitter every day. He's at IMG. He's one of the top players. I think they had him ranked number. He's at least top 5 in the nation as a defensive lineman.
He's top 2 in his top 2 defensive linemen in his class, and I can't stress enough to what he would have done for us.
And having Foreman in him. And Canigel.
And then Tango.
Yes. It's kind of like a cheat code. It's unfair.
It'd be like, for instance, it'd be like Coweta losing Mason Ford. It'd be like Carl Albert losing Xavier.
Yeah.
It'd be like Bishop McGinnis losing Taffy.
But you found a way, but you've overcome that though, Yes, you lose a guy like that and he goes off to IMG and he's having a heck of a year. But what you got here at Del City, you're having a great year, and I tell you, people could talk about, hey, McAllister came in sleeping, catch game against Coweta. I think Eric was beat up from the Del City game, man. So I just think right now, man, you got the second chance to win a district championship. You won last year, won in 6A2. Now you got a chance to win one in 5A.
Yes,
but like I said, I think 5A is wide open. I think, getting to read the Quasi, me and you both kind of talked about, I think Carl Albert getting to read the Quasi back helps him on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely.
Their running back just received a division Power 5.
He has. I looked at the stats last night. I was just looking at some of the stats, and he has 1,800 yards rushing. So he's going to be over a 22,000-yard rusher. That's very impressive. So that's
how many touchdowns? Over 20-some touchdowns?
21 touchdowns, I believe. So that's very impressive for them and what he's doing, especially because most of the time people know who's getting the ball.
Yeah.
So that's impressive for Carl Albert.
But like I said, these next few weeks, man, it's going to be exciting, man. I know, like I said, we just need the fans to still come out, support Del City football. When is senior night?
Coweta.
So, I mean, that's going to be a big time, you know.
Yes,
There's
sir.
going to be a lot of tears that night, you know, tears of baby's last senior game. Is going to be tears of joy of you winning your second district championship in a
Yes,
row.
sir.
So, let's go take care of business, folks. Like I said, you know, a lot of people don't give Coach Jones enough credit, but what he's done in 5A, in 6A, his last few years, being the second year as a head coach for Dale City football, he has done an amazing job turning this program around. Not just on the football field, but just in the classroom. He's worried about the kids' classroom. His kids are going off and playing college football. They're making the grades to stay eligible. You know, they're not on the eligible list. Each week, you know, he's having kids do the right thing. He's in their mix. As a father figure and as a coach figure, and I tell you that goes a long way, man. Because at the end of the day, these young men's gonna remember him and know what he puts into them, because you treat every one of these kids like your own. I don't care
Absolutely.
if they're a JV player or they're your superstar in Canigel or
Yes,
a
sir.
foreman. You treat each one of them the same, and
Yes,
that
sir.
goes a long way. So, Coach, I appreciate you. You know, like I said, I know we're
sir.
getting off a little bit, but great job what you do week in and week out. You know, with the
sir.
players, you know, on this show. So I really appreciate it. Any closing words?
Well, like I've always said, I thank you guys for being able to get kids on the show. I thank you, RT and Ethan, for
Yes, sir.
continuing to give the kids in Oklahoma just a showcase, a show where they can show themselves and let people know who they are. You know, the running back from Grove.
Big
you know,
story, man.
Great story. I
Great
can't wait
story.
for it to come out. And guys, you got to check that story out. That's such a great story about him. And you know, have your tissue ready. Have you kind of watered up.
Yeah.
So, what Tony's doing with the Keeper 100 and Ethan and RT is big time. I think it's putting Oklahoma on a different map, because these college coaches, parents, communities are able to see these kids and get their storyline. So when they're going out to watch a game, it brings a different element to it. We got people who help behind the scenes. We got Shannon, who helps sets us up every day.
Big shout out
Does
to
a great
Shannon.
job. Your wife helps you with the show. So it's a lot of different people that are helping this come together. I think about the first time that we started the show. It was like 12 to 15 minutes long. Now we're just continuing to grow. We're continuing to get better. So I'm excited to see where this show is going. I'm thankful for you guys. I'm excited about these next couple weeks and the excitement that's going to bring not only on the field but in the show. So I'm excited about it.
Well, folks, man, that's Coach Jones. Like, it's always a pleasure to sit here and talk high school football. But like I said, does a great job on and off the field. Probably one of the better ADs around the state. You know, he runs a tight programship, you know, with his basketball team, track team. So he knows what it takes to be a winner on and off the field. But we'll catch you next week on the Coach Jones Show, keeping it 100. And we'll see you next week. See ya.